Alright, so here is finally set 13. Now, the reason why this was so delayed was because I had such trouble just trying to get the video to play in the program itself. Something was wrong with the raw video file itself. Couldn't get it to work. I mean, when I play back, it hits that certain section, and I don't know the reason why, but it somehow got corrupted. So there's going to be a certain part where I just had to cut it out. Hopefully that worked. But there's a certain part where I'm just going to explain what happened, because unfortunately it corrupted where I find the solution. So yay, wonderful, right? But yeah, here's finally set 13. Unfortunately, after this, there is no more videos because I cannot get past the puzzle. Hopefully I will, maybe by the time this video comes out. Who knows? We'll see. Hello, this is Chiak. We are back playing Ahnayro. I have switched back to the classic OBS just because OBS Studio has been causing me too much trouble. So hopefully, hopefully the game sound, even though like here it's basically silent. But then we got these like dialogues here that, you know, kind of awkward when it's nothing else but that. But I think I can click this. Yeah, click that. So this is still unavailable to me at the moment, or at least something maybe here can help us out. We're going to continue on the tracks for, which one was I on? Entry to Hell.
A woman sits at the head of a round table. Around her, my loved ones. As if through a cushion, she speaks louder, almost a scream, when suddenly, a hush falls over them. Then, I hear it. A rhythmic tapping, which leads me to the seance woman. I see her cracking her ankles repeatedly. My loved ones let out muffled screams, and as the candles on the altar are blown out, a string is tugged, revealing a mirror from beneath a shroud. I see myself, overcast by an unnatural shadow in the silver mirror.
Okay. So now, what is this? Abbey House on Victoria Street. Let's try that. Abbey House, Victoria Street. Victoria Street, Abbey House. Is this it? I'm gonna click it, but yeah, this film's forever. Or, you know, it would if it actually said anything. Right. Okay. Let's try that. No? What am I doing? No, this is just talking about a senior's home. It's back to the Fox sisters. Confessions, legacy, anything about legacy. The Fox sisters have been widely cited as parapsychology and spiritualist literature, according to psychologist Leonard Zusne and Warren Jones. Many accounts of the Fox sisters leave out their confessions of fraud and present their wrappings as genuine manifestations of the spirit world. CEM Hansel notes that remarkably, the Fox sisters are still discussed in the parapsychological literature without mention of their trickery. Okay. So, a review of our hints. A house in Hydesville. Manifestations of the spirit world. They have not only the ability but the desire to speak with the living. Okay. some reason just making me think of all the horror films. A demon? Demons are very popular in horror films right now. It's a ghost, but not really a ghost. Can we spell ghost? My god, if this was ghost, I would be so... But then it's that... This is 6 letters. So... Possession... I don't remember. I literally do not remember what I have looked up already or not. So... Confessions, mature lives, evaluations, emergence as mediums. Right now I'm thinking that it might be have to do with the word of like a ghost or something like that. Hydesville event in 1848 no longer exists, but the hamlet was part of the township. Just trying to quickly... The house had some reputation of being haunted. What is this word that I'm looking for? Mr. Splitfoot, which is a nickname for the devil. Later, the alleged entity creating the sounds claimed to be the spirit of a peddler named Charles B. Rosna. A house in Hydesville, manifestations of the spirit world. They have not only the ability but the desire to speak with the living within the Abbey House on Victoria Street. Okay. Excuse me while I write something down, notes for myself. I'm sorry if you can hear the vacuuming that's happening. Neighbors. It happens. But what am I trying to... Like right now I'm thinking it has to be like a different word for ghost or entity or a demon or whatever, but I can't see anything yet. This doesn't help when I think of ghost, but then at the same time, ghost is clearly not long enough for a 6. For 6 choices that we need to choose. Unless it's part of a word. Apparition. There's no A. Don't see an A. Okay. I am going to back out and we're going to at least get the hints.
I'm standing in a room, my body racked with weariness and the scent of formaldehyde. I am kept rigid by metal wires and swaths of cloth. A doll on display. The wires supporting my head force my neck at an almost unnatural angle. My hands rest on the head of another, the person I am curved over. Hours pass, and I feel every second of it as the wires wind desperately before each of them snap with a single note. My eyes scream as the metal begins uncoiling, twisting and tearing me. I let go of the person below, but all that is loosened from my hand is a lock of hair and a gray patch of skin.
Still life with skulls. What does that have to do with medieval literature? Okay. Vanitas is a category of symbolic works of art, especially those associated with the still life paintings of the 16th and 17th centuries in Flanders and the Netherlands. The Latin noun vanitas means emptiness from the Latin adjective vanus, meaning empty, and thus refers in this context to the traditional Christian view of earthly life and the worthless nature of all earthly goods and pursuits. In Christian philosophy, the word vanitas derives its prominence from the ecclesiastes in the Vulgate. The verse is rendered as vanitas vanitantum omnia vanitas in the King James Version. However, it is translated vanity of vanities, of all is vanity, and therefore the English word vanity is used in its older, especially pre-14th century sense of futility. Twin texts help recall the art which unites us all. This is 5 letters, so it can't be Vanitas already, I can tell. What is the entire thing again? It's already too long. Themes. Vanitas themes were common in medieval funerary art, with most surviving examples in sculpture. By the 15th century, these could be extremely morbid and explicit, reflecting an increased obsession with death and decay, also seen in the Ars Moriendi, the Danse Macabre, and the overlapping motif of the Memento Mori. From the Renaissance, such motifs gradually became more indirect and, as the still life genre became popular, found a home there. Paintings executed in the Vanitas style were meant to remind viewers of the transience of life, the futility of pleasure, and the certainty of death. They also provide a normal justification for painting attractive objects. Okay. What else we got here? So we got the still life. Twin texts. The death of a twin. Soren Vanitas, not quite what I'm looking. Oh, well, that's Wattpad. Not quite what I'm looking for. Okay. I might just go for all hints. Remember that you have to die. Okay, so we're on the right track. Sorry for my quietness, but maybe let's try this. Ars. Let's quickly look this up. Oh, here's one of the images. The Art of Dying are 2 related Latin texts dating from about 1415 and 1450, which offer advice on the protocols and procedures of a good death, explaining how to die well according to Christian precepts of the late Middle Ages. It was written within the historical context of the effects of the macabre horrors of the Black Death 60 years earlier and the consequent social upheavals of the 15th century. It was very popular, translated into most Western European languages, and was the first in a Western literary tradition of guides to death and dying. There was originally a long version and a later short version containing 11 woodcut pictures as instructive images which could be easily explained and memorized. Okay, so this is definitely it. Let me just write out the last of the words here. Morendi. Let's see, M-O. M-O-R-I-E-N-D-I. E-N-D-I. Huzzah! Okay. Entry to Hell remembers. This all has to do with kind of like death, in this case, the afterlife.
Sits at the head of a round table. Around her, my loved ones.
It just brings me back to the psychic bookshop. Oh, hello. The psychic bookshop. What's this? The psychic bookshop was a bookshop dedicated to spiritualism established in early February 1925 by Arthur Conan Doyle. It was located on the ground floor and basement of Abbey House at 2nd Victoria Street. Okay, this is it. It was a bookshop, a library, a museum, and a public. An advertisement including Venus Speaks. The central depot for knowledge was established to meet the fact that psychic literature, the most important literature in the world, found hardly any place upon the shelves of the ordinary bookshelves. Okay. Now, actually, it could possibly very well be psychic bookshop. Psychic bookshop. I'm just gonna write this down so I know exactly the words I'm looking for. Hopefully, it does not need the. So, psychic. We have, just looking for anything else. So we have this. We need the Y. I C. No, wait. No, yes. H. I see. Unless I, oh, there we go. Okay, psychic. So I need a KS. All right. And with this, we are creating, with this a 3-letter word. It is not the end. It is not the end. Remember, entry to hell. So, don't imagine it can be afterlife, but entry to hell. What else was it? Is not the. Now, what am I doing? Memento, mortal sin, and spiritualism. So one thing, well, I'm not sure. I don't think spiritualism is going to really fit in terms of, I mean, mainly thinking because the first pop-up of the results is like Christian views or Christian motifs and stuff like that. Which spiritualism, we're talking about, I don't know if you can't call it a religion, but the word is completely leaving my mind, but okay. So all this has to do with death and the afterlife. Can I just put death, actually? Now that oh, you know what? I think that's it. It's literally death. So much simpler. And death becomes grief. What is happening with the image here? Okay. Wait, new content. Say, let's read this right now. Rosenberg Clinic. Okay. ID. I'm gonna assume this is the date, so November 14th of 1973. Oh, Literally says right there. Okay, I was right. November 14th of 1973. This is the third case I've seen in the past month, and it is just like the others. I am experiencing the extraordinary extraordinary phenomenon. This is why I came to university in the first place, to study the nature of the divine, and now I have seen it with my own eyes. But I must be careful to witness to the grace and not to be tempted to grab too tight. Not what am I reading? And not be tempted into grab too tight a hold, lest I break this fragile thread and loosen my connection to it all. The first case, a beautiful young woman named Anne, appeared to me as though an apparition. She claimed to have memories of the past that were not her own. Distant memories, she said. I didn't believe at first, but Anne intrigued me, so I bought into the story. She spoke of massive pyres, cleansing the sin from the bones of the wicked in front of a blood-red steeple. She spoke of fear, hatred, and betrayal, and became rather agitated by it. Anne's descriptions were so vivid, but I thought it to be nothing more than the ravings of an overly zealous student of God. Yet, in my research of my newly adopted home, I came across a dark chapter in the city's history, and Anne's visions felt more real. I was able to talk with her again several days later, but when I pressed her for more details of these memories, Anne shied away from my questions, saying they had become too dark, as though a shadow had passed over them. But she spoke of a friend, another of our classmates, who had spoken of similar visions. When I questioned this new woman, she was more open about her visions of an empty farm, dead silent in the spring, a series of footprints in the snow leading to the woods. She claims to have lived in the city all her life, yet she described with great clarity details of the farm, its equipment, and the livestock. I found the third case in the Hofrehof. As I strode through the stone memorials, I overheard a man crying softly and speaking to grave. He was assuring the tombstone that he had received the message. Intrigued, I followed him out of the cemetery into a nearby bar and offered him a drink. Over a hofbräu, he explained that he had a vision of a young woman walking through a dark forest. He took this to be a message from his deceased wife, who grew up in the Black Forest before they met. He felt it was her way of telling him she had returned home. I needed to know more about this phenomenon. Is it a resurgence of spiritualism in Germany? Are these implanted memories occult in nature? Are these visions truly a means of communication from the spirit world? And most importantly, how widespread is this? Does it exist only in Würzburg, some remnant of the city's hysterical trials, or can it be found elsewhere? Okay. Is that... Oh, this is another one. Okay. January 10th, 1978. This is later. Progress is slow. I can't seem to find the right system of measurement. But then again, how can you measure inspiration or enlightenment? How can I reduce an ethereal experience to a series of quantifiable figures? I feel like Ryan at Duke, but I don't yet have my Zener cards to perform the test. Without the correct means, all my work will be brushed off as dubious and faulty. I need clear data to show them that this phenomenon is beyond simple random chance and worthy of further backing. I know that it is connected to mental illness, as unfortunately was the case with my poor Anne, but I don't yet know if this is correlation or causation. I must construct a device to monitor the subject during a vision and note the changes in their brain activity, since EEG data seems to be as useless as the qualitative data I can gather from the subject after they've woken up. What I need is some means of monitoring activity within the prefrontal cortex, while at the same time noting changes to their breathing patterns without being too intrusive to the sleep quality of the subject. This phenomenon is so rare and fleeting as is, the last thing I can do is disturb the dream cycle. Perhaps if I could find the chemical means to produce a longer REM cycle, I may have better luck. Perhaps ACHEI, BZD, TCS, or some combination of the three. I should look into Cameron's work for something mixed to use. His funding, after all. Okay. He is funding after all? Next one. Next year on June 11th. Advancement comes from the oddest of places. Just as Anne appeared out of nowhere with the tales of ancient witch trials and brought this whole phenomenon to my attention, a newspaper ad showed me the clear way forward. A lifetime of blissful sleep in the weekend. The Glasswick Initiative's commercials was full of many of the standard claims of lifestyle seminars, but something specific caught my attention. Combining the latest scientific advances with ancient sleep rituals, we have created the Glasswick technique, the most effective means of harnessing the power of your dreams. My decision to attend the seminar was partly out of curiosity, partly a need to get away from the lab for a few days. The hotel convention center was exactly what I pictured, a wide range of hopeless people milling about looking for help and salvation. After a pathetic meet and greet, we were separated into smaller groups, where the seminar's leaders spoke of identifying our true potential and other such nonsense. The entire day was wasted on platitudes and New Age rubbish, but in the evening we were exposed to the star of the show, the Glasswick technique. They called it a means of mental relaxation and self-hypnosis, allowing the unconscious and the conscious to meet. I followed the exercise closely, taking mental note of every detail. That night at the hotel, I had vivid, powerful dreams almost immediately after falling asleep, and was semi-lucid the entire time. I left the seminar early the next morning, my mind still whirling from the clarity of what I had seen. The technique would be perfect for my research, and the hippies that had taught it to me did not begin to understand the true power of their discovery. I have yet to test it on anyone affected with the condition. First, I want to understand the process. If it is able to do what I hope it can, I can use it to better control this phenomenon and finally perform the tests I need in a controlled environment. I can only guess at the potential. This phenomenon, this condition of Anne and the others, is crucial to understanding the connection between our conscious and unconscious selves, and the influence we feel deep within us. I am at the door of something that has yet to be opened in modern times, something only whispered at in art, alluded to in history, hidden by ancient oaths of silence, a door science refuses to open. And now, with the Glasswick technique, I alone hold the key. Okay. Anything here? No. We're moving on to this one.
From the woods, I can see children in the distance, singing a nursery rhyme. Mother leads, how you wished for death indeed. I feel that I am being followed, I pick up my speed. From the woods, your curse did scream. I hope it's just one of the children following me, as their song becomes louder. Mother leads, mother leads. She regretted 12 until she got to 13. I see the decimated carcass of a wolf. I don't want to be here anymore. And now your son we're doomed to feed. The last thing I remember was the taste of dirt.
Among the trees creeps Deimos' twin as safety flees and the day begins to dim. And the day begins to dim. As safety flees. What is this? Tris poems? See if I can, okay, bit too specific looks like. I want to say fear, but then this doesn't, I mean, I'm thinking fear because there's like a girl being scared of a spider and this, but among the trees creeps Deimos. Who is Deimos? He's a deity, meaning dread, the Greek god of terror. Deimos was the son of Ares and Aphrodite. He is a twin brother of Phobos. Okay, okay. It does have to do with Phobia. And a nephew of the goddess Enyo, who accompanied her brother Ares into battle as well as his father's attendants. Trembling, fear, dread, and panic. Deimos is more of a personification and an abstraction of the sheer terror that is brought by war, and he never appears as the actual character in any story in Greek mythology. His Roman equivalent is Formido or Metis. Okay. Among the trees, and their twin is who again? Is Phobos. Among the trees creeps Deimos' twin as safety flees and the day begins to dim. So this has more to do with this guy here. In classical Greek mythology, Phobos is more of a personification of the fear brought by war and does not appear as a character in any myths. Timor or Timoris is his Roman equivalent in... he's referred to as Pavor. Okay. Deimos and Phobos in Sparta. The two brothers, Deimos and Phobos, were particularly worshipped in the city-state of Sparta, as they were the sons of Ares, the god of war. Phobos in Greek literally means fear. Spartan soldiers would idolize Phobos because he symbolized discipline and consistency of the armed forces. Because Phobos and Deimos were key mythological characters of war, individuals would conduct sacrifices to their name on battlefields and other places where war had taken place. Okay.